Historic preservation is an important tool through which we recognize the history of our communities and acknowledge the social and cultural contributions of the past. Too often, historic residential properties are undervalued and not maintained, and are eventually abandoned or demolished. Urban renewal, suburban development, and the construction of the interstate system decimated historic neighborhoods with the demolition of thousands of historic homes. Today, many grassroots-based organizations are bringing back the amazing character of their neighborhoods through historic preservation and are working hard to enforce residential maintenance codes, to encourage their neighbors to reinvest in their properties, and to save the historic character of each home as an important part of the fabric of the neighborhood.
Once a neighborhood loses a building, it's just harder to tell our stories. We learn from the past, and when the physical embodiment of a creator, an inventor, a minister, a political leader, a community person who built that community, once that building is gone, it does feel like a personal wound. If you really care about those who came before you, you want that fabric to be there. That's your inspiration of how did those people live, what can we learn from them, and how can we keep that sense of community going.
It's important to me to see the neighborhood preserved, primarily because of the diversity of architectures that we have here, and the history behind the community. Dayton, at one point in time, was a very segregated city.
We've had challenges relative to redlining, challenges relative to job losses, and we've been able to weather those storms and continue the movement as far as the city of Dayton is concerned. So when we see some of the older structures that are still standing, it says to us that, again, we're strong enough to stand as well.
More so than traditional downtown buildings, historic homes reflect the personalities and desires of those who had them built. Each column, piece of decorative trim, work of stained glass, and more tells the story of the original owner. From humble workers' cottages to the mansions of industrialists, neighborhoods are a symphony of those who have lived, worked, and played in the community.
I would recommend restoring a home if you love a challenge. If you like the puzzle and the intellectual challenge of figuring out what to do, particularly in an older home that has its own kind of personality and quirks. I would recommend it if you like to dream and you like to design and you like to think about how things can continue to get better and improve. I would recommend it if you have a team around you.
Buying a house like this, you really have to have a heart and a passion for it. So there is just a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that goes into a project like this. So if you are really inspired by this, then I would highly recommend it because the outcome is definitely worth it.
My dream for future generations would be probably that they realize the significance of what they have. There's history that's just not told behind the walls of these structures that's important to us.
To learn more about how historic preservation can help your neighborhood thrive, contact Heritage Ohio or visit heritageohio.org.